son is prophetic. Encrypt the signals from the shadows of the garden. We dig where the dirt got secrets, no parting. Microphone alchemist, scriptures with a twist. Peep the frequency, seeds in the mist. We drop bars like plagues, revelations in the cadence. Broadcasting truth while they trapped in surveillance. Wisdom with a watchman's blade. Fourth watch style while your whole system fade. Blood moons, Nephilim, echoes in the pine. Sasquatch stomping through the fault lines of time. We ain't mainstream, we ancient stream. Cypher with the prophets, decode the dream. So if you tuned in, better guard your mind. It's broadcasting seeds and we breaking the design. Yeah. Straight from the broadcast studio. Hidden in the static.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another, this is a special episode of Broadcasting Seeds. Today is the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. I am a Marine veteran, and my buddy here with me, Joel Matanos, is a Marine veteran as well. If you could, Joel, you've been on other episodes, but tell people, just give them a quick rundown of who you are and your background.
Yeah. Joel Matanos. So I was in the Marine Corps from 2011 to 2015. After I got out, worked some odd jobs, and then I ended up getting into mental health. So I work in the mental health field now, helping veterans with their mental health stuff at the end of the day. I'm not going to go too much into that, obviously, but other than that, since then, I like long walks on the beach and going hunting for Bigfoot in the Allegheny National Forest. Yeah. And just overall, man, we're just trying to live life and look at things with a different lens, or at least like a 60,000 foot view, give people some ideas of what's going on out there, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with that being said, today marks the 250 years since the United States Marine Corps was born on November 10th of 1775.
Yep.
Traced back to the Tun Tavern in Philadelphia, where Captain Samuel Nicholas, born in a bar, where Samuel Nicholas started recruiting the first Continental Marines. Semper Fi. What did I just say? Semper Fi. I'm a fucking buddy fucker. Semper Fi, fuck the other guy. All right.
Oh,
Semper Fi to every devil dog listening. If you want the official receipts, I'm going to put some stuff in the, you'll have a whole bunch of links in the show notes for this. So the Corps' own page lays it out in the anniversary hub. I'll put all that in the show notes, but quick history flyover before we dive into the weird. Okay. The original Continental Marines were disbanded after the Revolution and then reestablished by Congress in 1798. So yes, the Corps technically has been founded twice, but the motto of that we all know is Semper Fidelis was formally adopted in 1883 per the Marine Corps History Division, which, fun fact, and Joel can attest to this, we had to actually pass a history test to complete boot camp. And this is why Marines have such a crazy relationship with their histories, because they actually know it.
Yeah.
You would agree?
Absolutely.
They actually know they're taught. This is one of the things that's mandatory. I remember like first phase in boot camp was almost all Marine Corps knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Is what they called it.
The ditties.
Yep. And you had to get an 80% on this. I can't remember how many questions it was, but covered all kinds of stuff. And we actually had people fail out of boot camp because they failed the test. They got to retake, and then they failed again, and then they were gone, man. They failed again. Because we had some real morons, but allegedly you're smart enough to do this.
So you can imagine how hard it is.
True. I mean, allegedly you have to pass a certain point on the ASVAB to even get into the Marines, but
allegedly,
I don't think the barrier is very high. I think it depends on the era.
There's waivers for that.
Yeah, exactly. But you got to pass Marine Corps history to continue on to second phase. So with that being said, this podcast is broadcasting seeds, and we're not stopping at cake cuttings and birthday balls for this episode. Tonight we're stepping into that shadowy overlap where Marines meet high strangeness. War zones have always been fertile ground for the inexplicable. Call it stress, call it fog of war, or call it something else, moving just beyond the tree line. In Vietnam, for example, we're going to go over and talk about what are called the rock apes, hairy bipedal figures seen by American GIs and Marines in the Central Highlands of Vietnam. The evidence is contested, obviously, just like Bigfoot or anything else, but the stories are stubborn and they stick with us. So if you want, again, I'll put some, if you want to read about these things, I will put some, there's a few links that I'll have in the show notes to go over some of the historic stuff. So here's the mission profile for this episode. We'll honor the Corps as we're doing, right? 250 years of grit, then roll into the firsthand Marine lore from the jungle to the barracks. And finally, we'll ask the uncomfortable question. When official narratives collide with persistent, well-sourced anomalies, what gets filed under classified, and what gets dismissed as imagination, and what deserves a second look? So if you're new here, welcome to Broadcasting Seeds, where we will sift through the signal from noise and without losing our sense of humor. If you've been here a while, thank you for coming back, and you know the drill. Like, share, and drop a review. It generally helps the show grow and keeps these stories on the map for folks who need them. So I guess we should
ready,
just
ladies and gentlemen.
Into it, right? So where the unseen bleeds in the battlefield. So let's talk about the terrain here. Because the land itself is one of the first places Marines start running into strange. If you've ever deployed, you know this. Not every place on Earth feels the same. Some places feel crowded, even when they're empty. Some places feel like they remember things. And some places, they feel like they're watching you back. Marines have been sent into the thickest jungles, the oldest mountains, the deepest forests, and the most war-soaked patches on Earth. You take a bunch of 18 to 25-year-olds whose day job is to fight, starve, sweat, freeze, and not die, and you put them into territories that have been sacred, contested, or haunted for thousands of years, and things happen. You would agree.
Yeah, we've heard all kinds of stories. We've had all kinds of experiences as well.
So, I guess we'll start with Okinawa. Now, Okinawa was part of the island hopping campaign of the Marine Corps. It was wasn't it the last island? I think it was the last one.
I believe so. And that's where there was a lot of, I mean, from what I had heard from the stories and looking at history, it was some of the most brutal fighting. Just based on the weather, the terrain, like just fighting in mud pits, climbing mountains. It was just a horrible. I couldn't imagine. I mean, trying to walk out back when it's muddy without getting shot at is hard enough. I can't imagine fighting up a mountain full of mud for days and days and weeks at a time, you know?
Yeah, and just being undersupplied. Not having, clean water, oh, God. Yeah.
Just we don't even, that's the part that we don't ever bring out, you know?
So the aftermath of all this in World War II is that there's approximately 30,000 U.S. military personnel stationed on Okinawa, which is like 70% of the U.S. Troops in Japan are actually on Okinawa. I mean, the 3rd Marine Division is in Okinawa, right? So, it's a presence, and there's the native Okinawans and the Americans haven't always gotten along. Yeah. And they also, a lot of the native Okinawans don't even consider themselves Japanese. So it's a very different place. But the thing that we have to consider is that it's been called for centuries the keystone of the Pacific, because it's not in Japan, it's south, right? Yeah. So you can jump. It's with its proximity to China and the Philippines. It's
a strategic stronghold,
very much so. Yeah. So there's that. But it's not just a military base. It's layered history. It's the site of one of the bloodiest battles of World War II, which Jewel alluded to. Tens of thousands of Japanese soldiers, Okinawan civilians, and American Marines died there. Many in caves, many by suicide, many in total despair. So you can imagine the energy there.
Yeah, man.
Now try to imagine what it means to sleep in a barracks built directly over tunnels where entire platoons made their final stands, or to stand a lonely fire watch shift. Let me tell you, shift next to the shuttered building that your sergeant casually tells you to never look into the 3rd floor window of blah, blah, blah. Right. So
I'm going to look in the damn 3rd floor window.
Exactly. So Marines at Camp Hansen and Schwab talk about apparitions in dress uniforms from 1945, still marching their night patrols. Guys see figures walking right past them. I mean, solid, clear in step, and then vanish at the corner of a hallway. Dude.
That's I can't wait. I can't wait.
Doors slam when the wind is dead still, right? Someone whispers your name in Japanese when there's no one behind you.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
No. No.
I mean, dude, it's allegedly, because I've never been there to check it out.
My buddies have.
Allegedly, it's so common that it stops being a ghost story and becomes like a normal Tuesday. Right?
Dude.
Like just crazy.
Yeah.
And then, so let's move from there. You move into Vietnam. And sure, we'll get to the rock apes later. Okay. Yep. But before the cryptid show up, Marines were noticing something else. The silence. There are patches of jungle in the highlands where even insects won't make noise. Anyone who's patrolled knows that silence is bad. It's bad.
Oh, 100%. Something's wrong.
Yes. So silence is not peace. It's a threat, because either something else is out there that's making everything be silent, or it's just like that everything around is dead.
Silent. Yeah. Stillness. Yeah. The thickness of the air.
Oof, God, I actually got chills.
Yeah, man.
I actually got chills, and I haven't patrolled shit in 20 years.
I mean, just think about the incident me and you just standing at I'm not going to say.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. Tell. We drove out. Give the short, sweet version, but yeah.
So there's a spot here in upstate New York. There, Sleepy Hollow. Is that what it's called again?
The Sleepy Hollow Road, something like that. Sleepy Hollow Road. It's not Sleepy Hollow. Whiskey Hollow.
Hollow. There we go. Sorry, Whiskey Hollow Road. So we went. It's it's a known kind of haunted area. There's
wacky shit.
Yeah, all kinds of weird stuff. You're not allowed to drive through there anymore past a certain time. A lot of people died out there
after sundown.
After sundown.
Like, why do they do that, folks? if there's no issues.
So
Same.
not for nothing, we drive out there, and we just stop at this random little pullover site. You can walk off and go kind of up into the woods a little bit, and we stopped, and we both got out and we both walked. Now, both Bennett and I have hearing problems. I understand this. I'll tell you what, it sounded like I had earplugs in, like stuff.
Exactly the way to describe it.
I can't even. That is exactly what it was. And I looked at Bennett, and it's like we noticed at the same time. And I was like, dude, do you hear how quiet it is? It's right in this one small area. As soon as we stepped out of it, it's like all the sound started coming back.
Yeah. So like if you go off the road, that's when it would not. But if you're on the road, you could hear birds and everything. But it's like you walked into the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was literally no sound. There was no birds. Nothing was moved. There was no wind. It was freaking really weird.
Still, just pure stillness. And not only that, like the hairs on my back of my neck started standing up. It felt wrong. It felt wrong to be there. And that's kind of, I think, where this.
And I've had this feeling in other places too.
Absolutely.
Of historic significance, but unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom line is it's a pattern, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Where war happens, because I've had the same thing happen in Gettysburg before.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah.
Where war happens, where blood is spilled, where suffering stacks and stacks on top of each other, the boundary between worlds gets really thin, man.
Yeah.
And it just does. I mean, even the Bible has language for this. High places, strongholds, gates. Anthropology calls it liminality. It's the actual phrase.
Okay.
And Marines call it, something's off here.
Yeah.
Because your head's on a swivel.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, wait,
what?
You know?
Why is it like this?
So before we talk about creatures or entities or encounters, we need to understand the ground itself, right? Places, bottom line is places remember things.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't forget who walks on them.
Mm-hmm.
So the encounters themselves, we're going to get into a few stories, not myths, not rumors, the things Marines actually talk about when the barracks lights are low and no one's trying to look tough. And we have these conversations over and over again, right?
Should have called Mr. Ballin.
Yeah, no shit. So let's start where most of these tales get their first breath among Marines, and that's Vietnam. I remember hearing about the rock apes from old, like, folks. I knew some Vietnam vets. I still know some. And if you ever talk to people about rock apes, it's starting to get better, just like Bigfoot. Like people that have had, paranormal experiences or supernatural experiences or like UFOs or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. People are coming out more about this stuff, but they would, if you said the word rock ape, a lot of people would just be like, oh, I know about that. And then they're like, no, I ain't telling you that story because it's like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
So during Vietnam, go ahead.
Stigma around it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's, I think that's breaking down culture wide in the United States.
Oh, for sure.
So during the Vietnam War, Marines in the Central Highlands reported large, upright, muscular, hair-covered creatures that moved in coordinated groups and threw rocks with force and intention. And these weren't orangutans because it's the wrong region, right? Mm-hmm. Wrong behavior. Yep. They weren't macaques because they're too big, too upright, and frankly, they were tactical, which is crazy to me. Multiple patrols reported them. Some fired warning shots. Some returned fire after they got rocks thrown at them. Their after action notes, and I've got to find some, but I think I've found I've got some reports, but I'd love to find some actual after action reports and notes. that have this stuff, but who knows?
Yeah.
But it's, notes buried in long unit logs, and plenty of Marines have gone to their graves saying, I know what I saw,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a balanced summary of reports that I found. I will put them in the show notes. There's just too much information to go over in one episode.
Sure.
But it's literally on stripes.com, and it's the mystery of the wood apes, or apes in Vietnam. It's freaking cool.
If you look, I mean, it's all over. Like, there's military history all over about this all over the place. This is not,
and not just the Marines; it's Army too.
Yeah.
All over Vietnam, and frankly in Laos and some of the other places that are adjacent to Vietnam.
They also had a nickname, if you're looking them up, but Batutus, it's Batututs.
Is there any of those weird squigglies over the top of them too?
Yeah.
It's I don't know how that
the
all
local
works, but...
Vietnamese way to say it.
Right. Of course, there's no body, but there is decades of consistent Marine eyewitness testimony, period. Yep. Army as well. And then I'm sure that there's plenty of folklore in Vietnam from the indigenous folks that consistently report the same type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And bottom line is
the NVA did.
Yeah. The NVA did, right? And so did, all civilians.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that what I've learned through the years with stuff like this is consistency means something.
Yeah.
So if you consistently get these from different places that have nothing, there's no congruency between Vietnam and Oregon, right?
Yeah.
But they're still seeing the same thing. That should pique your interest.
For sure.
So kind of cool for another area of the world where you can think of Sasquatch type creatures being. So for the Sasquatch fans,
for anyone even looking into it, like there were actual expeditions, documented expeditions by not us. I'm talking like the NVA, and professors of the Vietnam National University that went out to do these things and try to find the rock apes. But again, they never find a body. They just elude them the whole time. And they are not going to think about it this way. An organization is not going to put that much money into an effort when they don't believe in it. I know that dumb things have happened in the past. Let's not say always, but it was enough of a scare where they kept pushing expeditions out to find this thing, and they couldn't.
And this is the NBA, right? That we're talking about. So not the Americans.
General H. Wang Min Ta, so HOANGMINHTHA. He organized the mission in 1974. They found nothing. It was unsuccessful. They didn't find nothing, but they found no hard evidence. Professor Vo Quy, it's VOQUY, of the Vietnam National University, sent an expedition as well. They said they had strange human-like footprints, but that was about it. And that was done in 1970 by Professor Tran Hong Viet of Hanoi's Pedagogic University.
Okay.
So,
that's crazy. So you have both sides.
Yes.
Saying the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
crazy.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. All right. So now I guess we'll transition. I just say if, our Sasquatch researchers and stuff, just look into this. It's kind of
Take
cool.
A look.
It was cool for me to peel out from someplace that I don't normally look into for Sasquatch activity. Right. So, and then let's move back to Okinawa and the Ghost Barracks. Now, if you've been stationed at Okinawa, you probably already know. Mm-hmm. I never was, but I've heard stories.
Neither was I. Yep.
Yeah.
And same.
So basically what you get though is a combination or some, Marines describe footsteps in empty stairwells, doors unlocking themselves, voices in Japanese whispering at night, full body apparitions in World War II uniforms still marching patrol routes. And so one of the most famous stories comes from Camp Hansen, where a Marine on gate guard reported a fully dressed World War II Marine with helmet, gear, even blood on his uniform, walking up and asking to be let back in. The guard turned to call his sergeant, turned back, and the dude was gone.
Man, that's tough.
And that's not a one-time story. That's been told over multiple decades by different Marines at that same gate.
That's a tortured soul, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. That is wild.
Again, a report on Okinawa hauntings. I've got stuff that's in the show notes. It's going to, because again, it's so much to cover. And as we know, Marines don't really scare easy. Like, I don't have a lot of fear. I mean, I'm sure they're just like every other person, but I just don't have a lot of fear. Like, we go out in the woods and it's
middle of the night, no lights, nothing.
Just by myself, whatever, you know.
Yeah, and just accept it.
But as people will say that have been there, Okinawa is one of those few places where they admit when they go out in the woods, sometimes they've been shaken. Yeah. And that's, people say it over and over again.
Yeah.
Where are we anyway? Yeah. All right. We're going to move to camp. All right. How do we want to say this? I'm saying Lejeune because that's what I am.
It's Lejeune
guy.
That's what I heard. That's what I know.
The family, or whoever, somebody complains that it's Camp Lejeune, which makes sense too. And I've debated this on a podcast before. It makes sense because he's from Louisiana. So you get some weird pronunciations with some of the things, and it's a French name. So Lejeune. But I bet it's got the French accent too, like Lejeune,
Well, that's the draw, man. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say, I'm trying to think of words from the Bayou most words from the Bayou sound different from most words I'm saying from up here. So,
or like they're spelled totally weird too. Like the last name Robichaud.
Yeah. Okay.
Or Robichaud.
Yeah.
Come on.
Look at the name. It does not look like how it sounds.
No, it's not at all. Anyway,
regardless, we're here now.
Camp Lejeune, where I was stationed for 4 years.
Same here.
Marines on fire watch in some barracks, not all barracks, but some barracks. And I can tell you that where I lived, which the barracks where I lived don't exist anymore, but I'll tell stories in a second. And on rifle range, so out of Stone Bay, rifle range reports shadow figures, right? Human shaped, solid, intelligent, and watching. They move differently than normal shadows. It's like they have weight. And some will stop when you look, and some will keep coming. And here's the part nobody likes to say out loud. They only go away when you speak scripture or say the name of Jesus. How about that?
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
And in the core, that's not superstition. That's experience right there. There may not be clean government link or academic study here, but one comes from the lived testimonies across dozens of platoons, across decades, and patterns in strong and consistent, fashion. Again, consistency. So I lived out on Onslow Beach, and those barracks don't exist anymore. But when you would come cross the bridge on the Onslow Beach, Onslow Beach is the beach on, Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune. And people can go out there and swim and spend the day at the beach. And it's actually pretty damn nice.
Yeah. It's a nice beach.
Yeah, they've got a little PX there called the Surf Shop. And, so that used to be, but when you come over the bridge, you would come to that main road and you would take a right And the whole battalion used to sit right across from the staff NCO beach. And that staff NCO beach, there's a building on top of the dune. And that was our battalion aid station was in that building.
That's awesome.
But across from there, you had these, I don't know what you would call them. They were squad bays. They were like white elephants or whatever.
Yeah.
Like kind of like, and they were all situated in an H. And I want to say there was 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, maybe 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
And then you had like a boat locker farther out toward Risley Pier. Which I don't think Risley Pier, I think that got swept away, but maybe they rebuilt part of it. I don't know. But Risley Pier used to be a fishing pier farther down the beach. But anyway, they had a boat locker out there too and a motor pool. So that's where 2nd Recon Battalion was. And now it's all gone. I think they replaced maybe some of the stuff with like rental, like trailers and stuff that you could rent. Or something like that. I don't know. But either way, I had on more than one occasion, some spooky stuff, like especially late nights because we still had a fire watch. And we had duty, and a couple times when you're awake on fire watch and weird shit would just start happening. Like you'd hear doors opening or things like that, especially in the breezeway between squad bays. Man, and you would go check and there'd be nothing there. And you're just like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yep.
I got it's not my own story, but it's a story I can speak on behalf of someone else's similar. On base, on Lejeune, not in that not in Stone Bay area, but in condemned barracks that eventually got shut down. So when we first got there, we were in barracks that were known to be condemned. They were getting ready to shut them down, and then they moved us into another set of barracks on F Street. When they moved this over, F Street, and when they moved this over, we had some guys, like as you do after doing 2 years in security forces, you come over to the infantry. So we were already there. I was a new guy in the infantry at the time with 3-2 Kilo Company, and we got a group of security force guys who come in. They've already been in for a couple years, so they're not new guys anymore. They're kind of they get a little treated like new guys, but regardless, they show up. One of my best friends, God rest his soul, was there with another buddy of mine as well. I'll keep his name out of it because he's still around, and I don't want things to kind of jump at him if he doesn't want to. But I'll call the other buddy G, and so G and the other guy were in the suicide barracks as we knew them. So suicide barracks is a barracks where they put all the guys that were suicidal or they thought they were suicidal or
having mental health issues.
Absolutely. And we just, as Marines, called them obviously the suicide barracks. It's
because we're
not the most sentimental and
politically correct.
Yeah, no, not at all. Just a little broken, all of us, So at the time, and in those barracks, unfortunately, a lot of suicides happened. Hence
the name.
Hence the name. Yeah. We call it what it is, I guess. So my buddy and his buddy were there. So they're sleeping in the middle of the night. The other guy in the other bed wakes G up and goes, "Hey, dude," or may have been the other way around. Regardless, they wake up to this figure at the end of the bed. And in the barracks rooms, it's literally one bed one side, one bed on the other side, and then a bathroom and the sink. That's it. There's no space more than that, really. It's smaller than like a college dorm. So these two, I mean, they see a figure standing there, what looked like, from what he said, long hair, and like a trench coat looking thing. They said he resembled like a 1800s era, like Civil War era troop, but raggedy and as if he had been like away from the fight for a while, if that makes sense. Like just beaten and brutal looking. And it just stood there. And he said as my buddy G was getting up to go jump, they both like went to tackle this thing, and it just disappeared into thin air. They dove through it. And both looked at each other and were like, what the hell just happened? So, and that these two the next day literally came there. And my buddy G came right up to me and was like, dude, you're never going to believe what happened, man. And it's, and that's one of like 50 stories we'd hear about the barracks, especially guys on duty that would see, again, doors opening and closing by themselves, lights turning on and off by themselves. And it was just common practice to look at it and just go, all right, and just keep moving because, again, it's just another Tuesday, you know? Like these things were happening so frequently that, again, people die on base all the time, whether it's training accidents or, unfortunately, mental health stuff, things of that nature. But it's going to happen. And like you said, the place remembers. When it remembers, those things stick around.
Yeah.
Energy's got to go somewhere, man.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
So next, we'll move on from Lejeune to Afghanistan and what I guess can only be called the wolf-headed thing.
This is a crazy story.
Yeah, this one's harder though. It's like because it moves into the realms of the ancient stuff and some of the cross-religious stuff where people will say it's a type of a jinn, you know. So, but either way, we're not going to get too deep into it at the end of the day, right? We're just gonna kind of gloss through it real quick. And because it moves into the realm of the ancient, it gets a little biblical too. So Marine and Army units operating near the abandoned villages of Nuristan and Kunar. Now, I don't know where those are, and I didn't look too deep, but, some people might. So reported a tall, muscular, upright creature with the head of a wolf or a dog. Sounds like Dogman, right? Or werewolves. There's
slightly.
Like locals call the entity Shaitan of the past or the demon of the mountains. And I don't even know if that's a good, what would you call that? Translation.
Yeah. Can I give a location real quick of where Kunar is? So Kunar is to the east. It's the mountains to the east of Kabul, and it's north of Jalalabad. So
okay.
It's a little farther. So it's northeast of Kabul and pretty much north of Jalalabad. It's actually directly north of Asadabad. So if you're thinking like near the Khyber Pass, you just keep going north, follow that up, you'll see the mountains, and that's where Kunar is. Just to give people more of an idea.
Yeah.
Kind of closer to the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan. So probably a lot of like trade routes, probably moving through there and whatnot.
Okay. So some descriptions match the American Dogman phenomenon, but some also match like ancient Mesopotamian depictions of like an Anubis like guardian, right? Which is the jackal-headed god.
Yeah.
A marine account similar to this is spoken about, and I'm going to actually put the I'll put it in the show notes, but it's the Confessionals podcast, episode 335. So Tony Merkel's had somebody, talk to somebody about it. So not everyone saw it, but the ones who did, their voices change when they talk about it.
I'm sure. Oh my God.
So you've got, if you look touch just a little deeper into like Arabian folklore, it's a type that people say it's a type of jinn or demon likened to an Arabian werewolf. But then it twists a little bit and it says similar to a ghoul, right? But what the heck? Because it is said to haunt graveyards and eat corpses. Now, with that being said,
Dude.
there's a lot of reports in the U.S. of dogmen around graveyards. So
digging up corpses.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying that kind of gave me, this is the only reason I brought that up is because I was like, what? There's a little
similarity
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of wild. So these encounters aren't random. They follow patterns. Again, remote areas, war-soaked ground. I mean, wars in Afghanistan have been fought for thousands of years, dude.
Yeah.
So high psychological intensity, ancient territory, and long-standing local legends, which leads us to the real questions. Why Marines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this, and I don't know why I've got to find where I read this statistic, because for some reason I didn't put it down, but there's a statistic out there that says that Marines are more likely to encounter things in places like this than any other branch. And
we
I
are
don't know
part
why.
of a cult, apparently. So
a cult, so maybe. But why these encounters? Why the Marines? And that's actually what we're going to talk about next.
I don't know any of this. So all right,
right?
Yeah.
So the question is why Marines? Why many Marines see these things? And you know what? I don't know if it's an over. The Marines Corps is small, guys.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to understand. Like, so when you hear, like, it's crazy that in certain sects, well, that's not the right word either. Certain, I can't think straight.
Places?
Today. No, segments, certain segments of society, the Marines are way overrepresented. Like entrepreneurship is one of those places, right?
Yeah.
I've actually met more Marines doing stuff like I'm doing than I have anyone else either as well.
Sure.
So it's kind of weird. Like there's congruency there. I don't know if it's just because it's like the theory of when something becomes, I see all the Marines because I am a Marine. Or it's like because I own a brand new Forerunner, I see Forerunners everywhere. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could be a case of that. But either, why does this branch, out of all the branches, keep showing up in the stories about shadow figures, haunted barracks, ancient spirits, and creatures in the jungle that just shouldn't exist? There's a few reasons.
Okay.
None of them mystical on their own. But when you stack them together, the picture kind of comes together.
Yeah.
So you've got, first, Marines go where the map fades out. The Corps gets sent into the edges, the forgotten corners, the territories nobody else wants to step into first.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
They land on beaches that have no names yet. They patrol valleys where even local tribes say, we don't go there.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, how many times I've heard story after story of that in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Where they're, or even in like Iraq, and then places where, oh man, like
that
I dealt with in South America and stuff like that. The locals are like, we don't go there.
Yeah.
The
and they're like, what do you got? You're going there? Okay.
Right. Okay. Well, you can have fun on your own.
We'll stay here. Yeah.
So the Corps has always been the tip of the spear, and people complain and people whine and they'll be like, oh no, they're not. But just by the sheer,
absolutely.
But just by the sheer nature of their job, they're usually the first. In so many situations, they're the first ones there.
Yes.
Period. And no, I don't look at the Marine Corps as a special operations unit. Even, some people think, oh, well, we can, and that's whatever, dude. The Marines are the Marines.
Yeah.
And as an entire force, what I've seen and what I've done in my research alone too, if you put a Marine Corps, I'm just going to say this, it doesn't really belong here, but I'm saying it anyway.
Yeah.
So whenever you take a Marine Expeditionary Unit, right? or would it be a MEU? Yeah, a MEU.
Yeah, that's
a Marine Expeditionary Unit, which is about a regimental size.
It's pretty large.
Yeah, it's a big, but it's a regimental size force. And stand it up against the Army uses the brigade system, not the regiment system.
Yep.
Right. So you set it up against a Army combat brigade, or what do they call them now? Combat. Basically an infantry brigade or a combat team, a brigade combat team. When you put them head to head, Marine Corps wins 9 out of 10 times. Period.
Wait, hold on. Before we keep going, you were also in the Army infantry.
I was a Marine in the Army infantry.
So yeah, so he has both sides, ladies and gentlemen. It's not coming from nothing.
So, but when you do that in a simulated system, the Marines win every single time. Sure. And I say 9 out of 10, but I actually mean 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And it's just because of the way they're trained to fight, period. And that's what I've said to people. It's like, yes, the Army, I like the Army too. It was cool. It was good. We went to cool places. We did great people I met there, but the Marines just trained to fight differently.
That's our only purpose.
And the Marines trained to fight at a disadvantage, period.
Yeah.
The Army always trains to fight at an advantage. They just do. Sorry. It's doctrine.
It was a different, like a ratio of
3 to 1.
Yeah.
The Marine Corps was taught to fight at a 3 to 1 disadvantage.
Yes.
So that's why you have violence of action and the whole nickname of Teufelhunden, the Devil Dogs. That's where that came from. Period.
The Battle of Belleau.
Right. So anyway, people don't go there. So the Corps has always been tip of the spear. And when you stand at the tip, you hit things before anyone else even knows they exist.
Yeah.
Second, sleep deprivation and adrenaline sharpen perception instead of dulling it, period. And many of us have been so sleep deprived that we see all kinds of entities walking in the woods, period. Whether they're there or not,
shadow
that
people,
doesn't
man.
matter. Yeah, shadow people and ghost soldiers, people, anyone that's been to Ranger School or people that have been to these things, they see these things constantly, right? Maybe they're not just a figment of their imagination. Maybe when you get so sleep deprived, the veil drops a little bit because you are more like a child at that point because your brain's not working correctly. So maybe the part of your brain, the reasoning part that like fills in gaps for you is so twisted at that point that it actually could see the beyond the veil.
I've always thought about that.
That's a theory I've always had.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I totally understand. Like when, like if you're not sleeping for 4 or 5 days, you're going to actually you're going to lose your mind and hallucinate.
And you're going to see some people say it's a hallucination. And sometimes I say maybe, but maybe it's not.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a change of perception. And now because of that, we can see different things.
It's not just exhaustion. I know that for sure. No. Right.
Because I know what's different,
Yeah. And this is exactly what I've been saying. In combat environments, your brain stops filtering.
Yeah, it just takes it all in.
You're not trained. You are trained to notice movement, shapes, silence, breathing, pattern change, period. You are trained to notice movement changing, shapes changing, silence, breathing, pattern change, period. Right?
Stop, look, and smell, man. All of that. Yeah.
Your awareness spreads out like a radar dish. This is the opposite of hallucination. It is hyper perception.
I mean,
so when something's watching you from the tree line, a Marine can feel it before they can see it. And I
firm believer.
I will go to my grave saying that.
100%, man.
And I'm not saying that doesn't happen to Army guys. It's either. Today's the Marine Corps birthday, so give me some grace.
Let us have it. Yeah,
exactly. Yep. And how often have you and I been out there and you're like, man, I just feel something is off?
100. I can't even tell you, man.
Yep. Exactly.
you notice it. It's palpable.
Absolutely. Palpable. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten to the point where people that we go do research with look at us and go, "What are you feeling?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So because
yeah.
we've been right so many times.
Yeah.
So the battlefield, this is third. Battlefield is a spiritual place where whether you believe in religion, energy, psychology, or anthropology, the conclusion is all the same. Places where suffering has pooled, right? Holds imprints. Human beings sense things that are not visible because trauma and death do not simply just vanish, because the ground remembers. Structures also remember, and those memories don't always stay quiet. Period. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Fourth, Marines spend long periods in stillness.
I mean,
people imagine Marines as constantly running and firing and yelling, but deployment is mostly waiting. But you track, observe, stay quiet, listen. Silence changes you. It just does. Silence makes you hear the things most people have never been still enough to notice.
Yeah.
Because when you're out in the freaking shit and you're sitting in a patrol base,
you're
especially
counting
at night,
grains of sand.
you're not sitting there, listening to shit on your ears.
No.
We have such an active, culture where there's always something going on, but you better get fucking comfortable with the quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out
you
there
learn a lot about yourself, man.
Yeah. So, and you get to a point where you hear everything. So
hear, see any anomaly. And I think that's the point. It's to you're out there for so long that it creates this baseline of what you're seeing every single, and it's a new baseline every day, obviously, but once a little shift in that baseline happens, you will notice it before anybody else. And I think a lot of that is we have to observe, and we become so observant over. It's like solitary confinement, man. You're up there alone with your thoughts, and you also have to push those thoughts out so you can stay focused on analyzing the environment.
Yeah. And that kind of comes into this part.
Yeah.
Fifth, the Corps teaches you to trust your senses.
Ain't that something?
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
More so than the Army could have ever taught me. I didn't go through Army boot camp. I didn't do any of that. But I remember sitting in boot camp and literally doing exercises where you would sit overnight in an LPOP.
Yeah.
And you had to stay awake. And that's what it was. It was for you to trust your senses.
Yeah.
And at that time too, the Marines didn't have night vision.
Yeah.
So, we had to do everything in the dark, and we still did night operations.
Yeah.
But we didn't do them with nods.
That's wild.
So how do you do that? Because you have to do it. You have to get used to that. And I feel like we I don't know about the Marines anymore, but I think as a force total, we rely way too much on night
technology.
Vision.
Yeah.
So, but either way, when you hear a twig snap behind you, that is not something to rationalize away.
No. That
is something to act on. And civilians talk themselves out of what they perceive all the time. Marines, they lock in.
Yeah.
You are trained that your instincts are not random. They're sharpened. This is why Marines always feel like they're better than other people. That's all part of it. But anyway.
Yeah.
Finally, there's an old idea that warriors are doorkeepers. Every culture that has ever existed believed that the ones who walk into danger are the ones who stand closest to the invisible world. Samurai wrote about this. Vikings wrote about this. Native American warriors spoke about spirits who walk with fighters into battle. This is culture. It crosses all cultures and all things. Warriors have different experiences. And the Bible even talks about angels and watchers on the walls, right? The presence of conflict has always been tied to the presence of the unseen.
This
Period.
lighter, actually, you can see it, is from Vietnam. It was a Marine that carried this in Vietnam. My brother got me it for my birthday, and on the back has this print that says, "When this Marine dies, he will go to heaven because he has spent his time in hell." And that was like a comment of like we are the gatekeepers to heaven. Like we were and it was just talked about all the time, even within like the lore, the Marine lore, the
all this
culture.
stuff.
It was like, yeah, you don't go to heaven until you get permission, basically, type of thing. But
it's very much like
the Marine. I mean, think of the songs we sing.
Just a warrior culture.
Yeah,
period.
yeah.
And that's what they foment there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because it's a just cause, at least in our minds at the time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when a Marine says, I saw something, or I felt something, or we were not alone out there, that does not make them delusional. It makes them a witness. So they're stationed where history, violence, memory, and spirit all overlap. They are awake when most of the world is dreaming, and they're quiet in the hours when the boundary between the seen and the unseen get thin. The fourth watch, man.
Yeah,
we talk about this all the time, right?
Yeah.
So, and that is when the veil is thinnest, period.
And boy, did I do some fourth watch.
Yeah. And in the world that hides from most people does not always hide from the warrior. It just doesn't. Period.
It's almost like it knows you can bear it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So as we mark the 250 years of the United States Marine Corps, we're not just honoring the battles we can talk about, the flags that were raised, the hills that were taken, the missions completed. We're also honoring the battles that live in the quiet places, the ones Marines carry without the medals, without the citations, without the speeches. There is a visible war, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then there's an unseen one.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And whether you believe these stories are spirits, cryptids, ancient entities, psychological echoes, or something else entirely, what matters is that the experiences are real to the ones who lived them.
Yes,
right?
100%.
Marines do not have the luxury of fantasy. I use that as a big point. We didn't have the time, nor the inclination to make shit up.
Yeah.
While you're on watch.
Yeah.
Everything gets filtered through survival. If a Marine says something was there in the dark, then something's probably there in the dark.
Yeah.
So,
and guess what happens when it's not believed?
Yeah.
Bad shit every time.
Bad shit every time.
Yeah.
If you're you're out on some fob and you see something like moving behind a rock or something like that, you're going to tell the guy that relieves you.
Yeah. 100%.
Dude, I think I saw something over there and I feel like there's something over there. Like,
keep an eye on it.
How many times did you do that on freaking turnover?
Almost every other time.
Right.
Yeah.
Something's out there, and I can feel it, or I can see it, or I saw a glimpse of it. Boom. Just keep an eye out over there. Yeah, man. All the time. So this episode is for every Marine who has ever stood fire watch in silence, for every squad that felt something watching them beyond the tree line, for every devil dog who saw a shape where they shouldn't have been one, where there should not have been one, for every warrior who came home with stories he never told because he didn't want to be laughed at or didn't have the words for it. The Corps has a long history of fighting on Earth, but maybe it has also stood guard on the edge of something deeper. So whether you're active, reserve, veteran, or someone who just respects the Marines, happy birthday and Semper Fidelis.
Semper Fidelis, brother.
So in this episode, if this episode meant something to you, if it opened a thought, sparked a memory, or planted a seed, I need you to take the time, just a second, to like, share, and review the podcast. This show grows because of you, because you share it, because you keep these conversations alive. You can also find all episodes, merch, and updates at broadcastingseeds.com. Until next time, stay watchful, stay grounded, and never assume the world is only what you see.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United